Hello, I hope you like my poem and drawings. This is an expression of faith.
Why do you trip me all the time? God, God, whenever I seem to go, you trip me. Wherever I seem to walk, when I run, you trip me. God, why are you letting me fall into the arms of Satan? God, why are you letting me fall? Why are you letting me fall? God, God. Why are you letting me fall?
Okay, now I'll explain my poem. Of course, I wrote the song too, but I say poem because I'm dealing with the words, okay, here. But wait a minute, first, here's a couple books. Here's a couple of the books I've done. They're both 80 pages, these ones, El Shaddai 1 and El Shaddai 2. They are mostly written and drawn by me, except for when I'm adapting the Bible, and that's the Bible authors. And I think it's important to visualize the Bible. I really do. You see it in a different way than when you just read it. And I don't really like TV. There's a show where there's an actor. He seems like a wonderful person, and he plays Jesus. But I don't want moving images. Okay, that's just, I could explain that in another video. But nothing against any like it seems wonderful. But anyway, back to my poem. Okay. God, why do you trip me all the time? The idea that God trips us is a strange one. I think somebody might say, why, how can you think that God trips you and puts you into the arms of Satan? But I mean, the whole world has fallen, and Satan is the prince of the world. Okay. God is the ruler of everything, but Satan has been given charge. Okay, it says this in the Bible. So this song is it's biblically accurate, I think, to the point where, I mean, if you want to have faith and you feel that you can pray and that you're going to get everything you want, that's not really faith. And why did God put Adam and Eve in the garden in the first place? And he knew they were going to fall. Why do you have kids? If you have kids, you put them into situations where you know that they're going to fail, and you hope that they develop the perseverance and the ability that so many abilities we have to develop ourselves. Okay, I think that's the reason why. Is God is the good parent. He lets you fall. That's the thing. He lets you fall. And I've always had this strange feeling about Adam and Eve, where what if they never fell? None of us would be here. So so falling is part of the plan, or like when he says that we get refined like silver. Silver gets refined in a fire. What is a fire? Symbolically, that's all the trials and tribulations, and I mean some of the terrible things we're put into. Look at Romans. I mean, the past few years, Romans 13, 1 to 7. That was a very controversial because, I mean, we have to, well, I'll read it. Only God can give authority to anyone, and he puts these rulers in their places of power. People who oppose the authorities are opposing what God has done, and they will be punished. Rulers are a threat to evil people, not to good people, and that's a hard one to deal with, because in the past 100 years we've seen some of the worst rulers, and I mean, in my country we have like hundreds of churches that have burned, and they don't even get reported in the media. But if any other religion other than Christianity gets like a mere piece of graffiti or a twig fall on it, it's front page news. And what are we supposed to think about that? Paul wrote this book, Romans, when Nero was in power. The rulers of Rome that crucified Christ, and they were put in power. They weren't good. Oh, that's my dog. He's having a dream. It's not me. Anyway, yeah, God put them into power. And it's a mystery. Okay, is that all I have to say about it? I think so. But no, it's not. This is something I contemplate so much, but I'm in front of the computer right now. I'm not used to doing this. I'm not used to talking to a computer. Sorry. My head is full of thoughts, but as soon as I put myself in front of here, it's an odd thing. So, I mean, we're in a fallen world. Why does God put these terrible people in? Well, we know with the crucifixion, he had to be crucified. Imagine if the Romans were these really wonderful people, and the Pharisees were these wonderful people, and they said, "Wow, that's we just let them go." I don't know, everything has to happen, and for decades and decades, I've been struggling to please God and to do some work that can glorify Him more. But I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to be. He's in my mind, so in my art, it's going to be in my mind. I'm not a teacher. I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just explaining my work, and my work is about God, and it's about the world, and it's about His creations, and we're in such a confusing time right now. Are these the end times? I don't know. Sometimes I think so. Oh yeah, another thing I have to tell you about. I have this book that I've been wanting to release it, but nobody knows who I am. So I could have released it when Snow White was on. It's actually Snow White. This is Snow White. This is the real Snow White, not the Snow White that you know from Disney in 1937. Everybody thinks that's the original. Everybody doesn't think that, but everybody says that it's True Love's Kiss. True Love's Kiss. Everybody thinks that's the original, but it's not the original. The original did not have a True Love's Kiss, because Snow White was 7 years old. There's no True Love's Kiss for a 7-year-old. Like, it's a totally different story than people think it is. It really is. It really is. Because when I was telling you about like how you need to take the Bible, we have to take the Bible and visualize it and see it. We end up seeing something that we've never seen before when we put it into the visuals. It's really strange, but Snow White is it's a cosmic Christian story, and there's no true love's kiss at the end. Okay, it has a different ending. There's no stepmother. It's the mother. It's the real mother. There's so many different points of the dwarfs are not baby men. There's no baby men in the story. These dwarves are like, I don't want to call them warriors, but these dwarves are they're the majestic. The queen doesn't go over to the dwarves and just bring like a couple guys to slaughter to the dwarves, because the dwarves can handle themselves. These dwarves, there were 7 mountains, and each dwarf was made for a mountain. Like they all like, it's such a different story. And I love the 1937 one, but it's 1937 propaganda. And 1937. It's. I'll explain it later. I will explain it later. Anyway, I gotta put it out and publish it, but I gotta get a few people actually knowing I exist first.